After 9 years, we are finally getting a new Mad Max movie. The trailer for the Furiosa Mad Max saga has been released, and even though it looks nice, something seems off. We are here to highlight 4 key points that might frustrate fans and go badly for the movie. So without further ado, let's get to the first point. Furiosa is a prequel fans didn't ask for. That's right. No matter how cool Furiosa is in Fury Road, it is hard to find a discussion where people asked for a Furiosa storyline. Fans were actually happier with Max's journey to get a sequel, and judging by how different franchises' prequels ended up, can you blame them? Most movie prequels seem to be just bad, while the good ones often feel unnecessary. However, George Miller is a genius. He created backstories for almost every character in the Mad Max universe. He wrote these stories to explain many small details that movies might not cover every time. And he is truly convinced that Furiosa's story is well worth its own movie. 2. Excess use of CGI. One of the first things fans noticed in Furiosa's trailer is the amount of CGI used. While some other franchises use CGI in almost every scene, fans of Mad Max cannot get over it. The reason for that is Fury Road, an epic movie that won 6 Oscars and set the course for quality action movies, as it predominantly featured practical stunts. This seems not to be the case for Furiosa, at least judging by its trailer. I mean, just look at it. The motorbike in the first scene is not real, Chris Hemsworth falling from the cliff with bullets looks weird, and that huge monster truck also looks fake, which is odd considering they had a real one on set. Don't get me wrong, Fury Road also used CGI to portray the surroundings, but the practical effects were one of the reasons why it became so popular. On the negative side, it is one of the reasons why Namibian authorities accused the film crew of damaging their environment, and some crew members also experienced minor injuries. Perhaps that is the reason why George Miller decided to use more CGI this time, but we have yet to see the movie to confirm it. 3. Weird timeline. At the beginning of the trailer, it is mentioned, 45 years after the collapse, a young Furiosa is taken from her family. Now, I'm not sure how familiar you are with the Mad Max universe, but George Miller expanded it by creating comics to connect the story of the first 3 films with Fury Road. In these comics, Fury Road is a sequel to the first 3 movies, featuring Max, who looks like Tom Hardy's Max. Considering the timeline connections, we need to revisit the very first movie. In the initial film, Max is a 23-year-old cop in a world on the brink of collapse. The collapse hasn't happened yet, as we still see people living normal lives, eating in restaurants, and enjoying some fun. This contrasts with Mad Max 2, where civilization has collapsed, and we first encounter nomadic gangs roaming the desert. So, if Max was 23 in the first movie, and the collapse was happening around that time, 45 years later in this Furiosa movie would mean Max was 68 years old. Keep in mind that Furiosa is a young child. By the time Max met her years later in Fury Road, he would have been somewhere between 80 and 90 years old. This is particularly amusing, considering that Tom Hardy, who portrayed Max in Fury Road, was in his late 30s. Was the 45-year time frame meant for the year when the first Mad Max movie was released? Well, in that case, it would make sense. To casual fans, this issue might not matter, but hardcore fans care about it. 4. Mad Max movie without Max. Even though the movie is called Furiosa, it still includes a Mad Max saga. That being said, fans would find it annoying if we don't see our beloved hero in the movie. He doesn't appear in the trailer, and Tom Hardy's name is not in the cast. However, George Miller recently spoke about it and mentioned, "This story happens 15 years before Mad Max Fury Road, and it runs straight into it. And Max is lurking around somewhere in this story." Now, that sounds promising, suggesting that Max may appear in the movie, and they are keeping it a secret until the end. It wouldn't be the first time that film production keeps some characters hidden until the release. Marvel has been doing it for some time, so we hope it will be the same with Max. To conclude this story, I believe George Miller will do a good job in the end. However, the points I've mentioned are significant, and as a Mad Max fan, I hope that most of them will be addressed in the final cut. When asked about his role in Furiosa, Chris Hemsworth has been quoted as saying, "I think it's the best experience of my career. Something I am most proud of too." This is very encouraging. I guess now we just have to wait and see. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, please subscribe.